there's no way. I don't have a rich father. I don't have a billionaire husband. Is there any hope for my future? So can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing and how you became Bishop Funke Felix Adejumo today?
Thank you once again. I was born about 62 years ago. You can't believe it. I was born with 63. When did I grow up? Oh my God. And my parents were not poor, but they were not rich. At least we were comfortable until my father made one of the greatest mistakes of his life by taking us to the village.
Wow.
Great, good, fantastic Baptist man, but maybe he didn't listen to the Holy Spirit at that time. So he took us to the village and my brother took ill. According to him, somebody rubbed something on his head. He said he noticed that every time people wanted to carry me, I would be screaming, "Don't touch me," and all that. I told him, now I know the Lord saveth his anointed. Yes. But my brother was, the friendly type and all that. So we had to cut the trip short. We came back to the city, and that was the beginning of a 6-year journey of pain, waste, pressure. My parents took him everywhere. It became so bad that my father started selling the properties, Even as a little child, I remember how he started, different things. He was building a house, sold everything, and we started eating from our palm. Then one afternoon, some pastors were in our house. They put my brother in whatever they were praying, and about 3, he died after 6 years of that journey. So we became poor.
Wow.
And I remember gaining admission to secondary school. I was 9+, and there was no money. My father went to his boss. He was working at the Federal Ministry of Agric in Ibadan. So he went to his boss and said, "I want to retire voluntarily." And the man said, "Why?" My father said, "My daughter just gained admission to secondary school and I need to pay." The man said, "You are mad. If you had said your son,
oh my God,
your daughter that will get pregnant in school, or if she manages to finish her education, she will change her name. No, get out of my office."
Wow.
My father said, he insisted, "Sir, I want my gratuity. I'm retiring." So he retired, collected the gratuity, paid, I think, like 3 years, bought mattress, bought lock soap, and sent me to school, boarding house. Eventually, I became the head girl in the school. And my father kept telling me, "Remember the daughter of who you are," and he said I was telling him that I'm going to be great. Because my maiden name, my surname in Yoruba is Ihimekaye, meaning my news goes around the world.
Such a prophecy.
That's so prophetic. He said, I kept telling him. My father said he looked at me and said, "No, this is the girl that would take my name around the world. No, I'm going to retire." 2 weeks after, the boss, I had gone to school. 2 weeks after, the boss called him back and said, "You challenged me. Take back your job. But when it is now time for you to retire, there will be no gratuity." So when my father was telling me this story, he looked at me and said to me, "You are my gratuity.
Oh my God.
You are better than 7 sons." Wow. That's my background. And if you understand the Baptist background, we were taught well, raised well, correct native intelligence. They pumped value into us. We were not rascals. Taught us about marriage, gave us values, societal values and all that. So I grew up in a godly home. And I got born again early. I was about 14 when I got born again. It was my Baptist choir director that led me to the Lord. I used to be very, very rascally. In all my life, I've never fought with a woman, except one woman that was pregnant. I beat her that when she had her baby, I had to go check to be sure the child was good. I was always having a pant underneath, no matter what I wear. There would be like a trouser,
so
because fight
anywhere.
sometimes in school, secondary school, I would just sit like this. One boy would just come and slap me, and stars would come out. And the boy will say, Funke, what were you saying when we were on the assembly? And then we will start. So that was the kind of a girl. I think I was just trying to protect my space. I said, life has dealt with me. No, you won't take my dignity, that kind of a thing in my life. So this day that I was going to be born again, September 14, 1978, the night before, the evening before, we went for choir rehearsal, and my choir director said, Funke, bring your CV. I just finished secondary school. My education was very fast. Bring your CV to my house tomorrow. I'm taking you to a place to look for a job. At the back of my unregenerated and unborn again mind, this man wants to take advantage of me. He will know today. So the following morning, I put on my pants, put on my, and said to my uncle's wife, the way I'm looking at it, you're going to meet me at the police station.
Yes.
Because this man, I will deal with him today. So I took off. We went to the office, I still remember the place, dropped my application, and then when we're coming back, the man said we needed to come to his house. So I was ready. I sat at the first chair at the entrance of his living room, just remember a parlor. This man went into his room, brought out a Bible, and read from Galatians chapter 5, 19 to 22. Till tomorrow, I cannot remember what he said, but I knew he was just talking about my life.
Describing.
I was all tears. About 11:40 in the morning, I knelt down, September 14, 1978, and I gave my heart to Jesus. And the trajectory of my life changed forever and ever. I'm grateful.
Wow. Just meeting Jesus can transform your life. That's literally what I've heard from here. But I think that one of the things that I also love about your story is your father. Your father, the way you describe your father almost gives me an impression of how God is to us, looking out for his daughters. He was ready to lay down everything because he believed in you. And even when it meant people thinking he was mad. Honestly, when you said, his boss said, are you mad? I didn't expect that he was angry because he's a woman. Now I know that your dad stood for you at that stage, but over the years, I'm sure that you have met those brick walls where people have said to you, you cannot do this because you're a woman. You cannot do this because you're a woman. How have you overcome these situations? And has there been anyone that has really stood out for you?
So after I got born again, I became a member of a Christian fellowship where my father in the Lord now, the choir director, was also a member. And that man followed me up till I stood in Christ, taught me how to dress, taught me everything. God bless him. He's a missionary today, and by God's grace, I bless him, I said to him, yes, he's alive.
Oh God.
He's about 80 something now. I told him that, sir, even if you don't win any other soul, I'm enough.
Worth it, yes.
Because of the ripple effect of my life. So that fellowship, I would go very early on fellowship days to sweep the church. But no matter how early I went, there was always this brother that would be on his knees. His shirt would be wet, praying. I would sweep around him. And then service will come. And today that happened to be my husband.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So after we came together, I asked him, why were you always praying and your shirt will be wet? He said, I was praying for my pastor. This was the pastor that didn't treat him well. Because the pastor wanted me to marry his brother.
Oh my God.
because there's a Jim sister. You know, that's what we used to call.
No, ma, at this rate, we need to make a movie of your life. Honestly, we really do.
And my husband did not know that he would become a pastor later in life. But he was sowing that seed.
Wow.
My husband teaches me how to walk with God, not walk. Walk with God. Oh my God. So you're talking of someone like my father that has stood by me. Felix Remy Adejumo. After we got married, he said to me, don't die under my shadow.
God.
I refuse to be an African husband. These were his words. He said, if I did not marry you, you will still have had a destiny. So why should marriage cage you? Now, he wasn't a pastor when we got married. He became a pastor 3 years after we got married. And I told him, this is the end of our relationship. Because I used to be a very private person. You would not believe this.
I do believe it.
Jesus. How can I be a pastor's wife? No, I hated public life. As in hate. And I remember we were living in the city of Ibadan, western part of Nigeria. And his boss one day transferred him to the city of Akure. I had been to Akure once that time, before the transfer. And when he came home to announce, I said, now you have become a weekend husband. Just go. I was heavily pregnant. We had a child, So I said, just go, come back home. Because my mother was born there. I was born there. My life had been Ibadan. Then he left for 3 months. He would come home and all that. One day, one of the ways by which God speaks to me is that I'm reading the Bible and then a phrase, or I'm reading a book. So I picked this book as a good wife, taking care of the home. It is his problem. Let him go and transfer. Hey. And I saw this phrase as a true child of God. If your husband comes home and he announces his transfer to a more rural place, will you throw temper tantrums? I knew that was God. Now, PM, I know you will believe me. When my husband returned and I told him God had spoken to me, okay, I'll go with you now. I brought out the book, showed him, we could not find it.
Yeah. Because that's how God is.
We could not find it. We still have the book. So I knew, we're good. When we got to Akure, March 7, 1987, about 3 p.m., I stood on the streets when we entered Akure and I prayed 2 prayers. I had 1.5 children that time because I didn't know my daughter would survive. I had a son and I came out of the car and I stood and I said, Lord, I married a town planner, not a pastor. You gave me an encounter and I'm here. Please hear these 2 prayers. I said, number 1, Lord, I will so much stand by Felix Adejumo. If he fails, hold me responsible. I said, number 2, Lord, I give my life to you. If there are 10 women in this region that you want to lay your hands on, let it please you to make me one of them. And I know God had those 2 prayers.
He did, ma. He did. He absolutely did.
That's where I am today.
And I've heard this over and over again because I'm sure you could see me completing the prayer with you.
I know.
So I see the way you talk about your husband and how, how he's been such a blessing to you. And I couldn't help but pick up on that phrase where your husband says, I don't want to be an African husband. So my questions are 2. Is there such a thing as an African